Now we start in chapter 3, and this chapter is quite close to chapter 2, and how the Korean government to develop the fisheries management, including in the rebuilding programs or the climate changes, the policies. And also we are very special part of the chapter 3 is cooperative in Korea. So you mean the fisheries cooperatives in Korea was very special, the governance to dealing with the fish and the culture. And also there are many the market areas too. There are many the important points to understand of Korean fisheries. In chapter 3 is just mentioned, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 part, and including the some specialty stock enhancement programs in second part. So now we are starting the fisheries management in Korea and major policies. And you understand of the fisheries management is all countries the same. And the mainly in Korea, we are focused on the management goal is biological sustainability or social stables and economic viables, and also institutional enhancement. In Korea is just more focused on the economic viable and social stables. Maybe some countries is more focused on biological sustainable, or some countries institutional efficiency. But mainly I think in Korea, the fisheries management goal is social stables, because in Korea we have more than 2,000 the fishing communities in coastal area, eastern and southern and western part. So that's why the fishery industry is very important for people. You mentioned about some the fishing communities, how we develop in locally. So that is including in the main goal of fisheries management. And also the basic, very fundamental, the system of fishery management, and that including the mainly what we understand of Fishery Act. We developed the Fisheries Act in 1953, and this act is including the 3 different parts of one is national and local government, and one is the co-management part, and one is cooperatives, including RFC is the regional fisheries cooperatives, and the BFC meaning is the business the part of cooperatives, and also in national fisheries the cooperatives including there. And these 3 areas together, we using the Fisheries Act, and then we develop the 3 type of the fisheries measure. We say technical measure, and the input control, and the output control. So technical measure is it's quite common in all countries, like in Timoros, and catch area and catch size, and the fishing method, and also there are some small size fishes, and so those kind of technical measures is quite common, and in the fisheries management part, and also in Korea, like in Timoros, most of Asian countries, the main part of the fisheries management is input control. So that is kind of the license systems, and that is quite close to how many the license we need, and who catch or culture. So that is only we have some permission or some license from government. So that is input control. And this is very important part of, you see there are 2 different parts. One is the direct limit and the indirect limit. So that is including many parts of there. And also one part is output control. And this is a TAC systems. This is quite new in Korea. So we start these systems in 1996. And before 1996, we have only the license system, including technical or input control. But after 1996, we have a new system introduced, like in the TAC. That is, we say, the output control systems, TAC and something. We have 2019, we have 13 the species in TAC system in Korea. And the same as before I say, there are type of the management measure. What is the input and the output, or what technical measures? The same of, I think most countries the same of this kind of measure. And TAC system in Korea, we have the 13 species in TAC, but still ITQ is not open in Korea. But still government try to extend these systems in inshore and offshore fisheries in Korea. And also there have something to think about the co-management between the government and the fishermen's groups. We say the fisheries cooperatives. We are working together to dealing with fisheries management in Korea, especially in the TAC system. And TAC system is how government and the fisheries cooperatives working together. We say co-management. Co-management meaning is government and the cooperatives, they are working together to manage the fisheries, the fishing effort or the catch levels, the same of other technical measures together. In this graph, so how TAC is run by the management systems, including the government, the Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries, and the business type of the fisheries cooperatives, we say BFC. They are working together, and then we make some co-management. And that is the self-management in the coastal area. Many the fish communities, we have more than 2,000 fish communities. They have their own the self-management systems in Korea. So they develop the rule and regulation themselves. So not government rule and regulations. That is, we say, the community-based the fisheries management, and also participatory fisheries management. And that is one part of in Korea. It's many different areas the same. And also we are concerned about some ecosystem-based, and that is most of the developed countries, Canada, United States, Japan, and many European countries. And recently they are more focused on the marine ecosystem-based the fisheries management is one of a new issue in globally. How we dealing with the effectiveness of the fisheries management using ecosystem-based. But this is a very difficult ways to introduce this system, because they are including many the parts of together, and then they develop the ecosystem-based the fishery management. But this is a good systems, but it's not easy to imply. So that is like in Korea, is you see here there are many the systems to like in MPAs and many eastern and southern and western areas to develop the marine ranching place. We say the stock rebuilding programs too. There are large scales and also small scales. Large scale is 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allowed here. We have 5 large scale of stock rebuilding programs. And also there are more than 20 small scales. The stock rebuilding program is in coastal area. So last few decades, we spent a lot of time for how to increase of stock biomass, to increase of the catches in coastal area. So this is like in seaweed, the forestry cases, to using seaweed, how to forest in the coastal area, to make some spawning area to spawning using seaweed. Or there are many places like Jeju Island, and there are no seaweed. and that makes some problem of productivities of in coastal area. So that's why we try to reforestation of coastal the seaweed in many areas. And also there are some seaweed spawning the phenol's in sand pieces in coastal area. You see there are some the spawnings. If there are no seaweed, the most of spawning the phenol is come down in coastal area. But we try to make seaweed, and then the fishes that's they're spawned in the seaweed areas too. So those kind of things are also important. This is artificial reef, and to encouraging or some enhancement of stock biomass in the coastal area. So that is one of in main the program of the stock rebuilding program in Korea. And also the prey release programs of we release small size fishes in coastal area to enhance stock the biomass in Korea. And also marine ranching programs and many in coastal area in Korea. So those kind of very the complicated systems to enhance the stock biomass in coastal area. So like in there are artificial reef or some prey release, and also the seaweed forester, and there are many things together, and then we decide certain area to protect the fishing and some other, the recreational fishing, whatever. So those kind of the marine ranching place is, we say, in European and the United States, there is a MPA, Marine Protection Area. We say the marine ranching programs in Korea, the same of here. And that is one thing about some the climate changes in Korea. And that is, I think it's a very difficult situations in Korean coastal area. And you see in climate change is one of main factors how we think about in the Korean fishery in the future. Because in Korean peninsulas, the temperature is increasing very rapidly, and some seem to a negative impact to make change of the fishing ground because of this. You see, climate changes many things in Korean fisheries, like in the next slide. And you see here, there are two different group of the species. One is squid, mackerel, and anchovies. That is warm waters groups. And those groups is catches increased in Korean coastal area. And other groups, like in the Aristica pollex, there is cool waters groups of species, and catches declining. So there are two groups is divided by climate changes, how the catch changes by climate change here. And before I say some part of the explanation of Korean pollex is disappear after 2000 because of the climate changes. But scientists said there are many factors to overfishing or climate changes. But in here is the pollex is cool waters because of the climate changes happen in Korean coastal area. So this cool waters, Alaska pollex, is maybe some problems. And then sometimes, you see after 2000, the stock is disappear and all the fisheries collapse. And that is one thing in here, the same of like in the catch is declining or increased, depend on what type of the species in the cool water and warm waters. So there is one thing also in the fishing ground is changes by climate changes, because in fishing ground is every 10 years the 4 kilometers up to northern part of, you see here is the left side and right side, And fishing ground is before in the south part area. And now they move to northern part of eastern area. So those kind of things we can see easily. So the fishing ground is moved to the 4 kilometers every 10 years in Korean peninsulas. So there are many factors we can find after climate change is happening in Korean peninsulas. And also you can see here, and this slide is like in many parts of Korean coastal area. And I think it's one of a big problem of many, because the coastal area in seaweed is very important for not only for the fishes, but also there are many other cell and the species cases. Because you see here in the many coastal area in Korea, including Jeju Island, the seaweed is disappeared. You say the branching seaweed in the coral reef. You see there are some green seaweed is disappear in the coastal area, the rock species. So this kind of thing is happened in recently many areas, and I don't know how to solve. So the change of temperatures to changes many the factors for fishery sectors, and there is like in here we can see some part of you see I say there are two different. One is the biological part, one is physical part, how the happening in the coastal area and after the climate changes happen, and the same of in the branching of seaweed in coastal area, and that makes something to how we have some government policy or programs to enhance. So those kind of the problem from climate changes. And the same of here we see there are maybe some climate change is positive or negative, and you see here, and some species is new coming to Korean coastal area because climate changes. And just we have some big problem of jellyfishes. This is negative, but it's Philippine tunas. We caught Philippine tunas before climate change is very small size, maybe less than 5 or 7 inches, very small size. And now the Philippine tunas, we caught big size. I think the more than the 20 inch or sometimes the 50 inch, something like that. Big size tuna is caught in coastal area. So there is a positive from climate changes. So we will have new species in Korean coastal area by the climate change in here to see. And also, this is before I say already. And you see here, and the Philippine tunas caught in after climate changes, and also jellyfishes is big problem of in coastal area. And now we are talking about the in Korea very special the cooperatives, and this cooperatives is one of the main the governance to manage of fisheries. We have 3 different cooperatives. One is the cooperatives in including some regional area, and that is we say the regional the cooperatives. One is business cooperatives. One is manufacturers processing cooperatives we have in Korea. So these cooperatives in Korea is very important roles to manage our fisheries. And you see here is to see there are something to including the cooperatives and the government, and working together. We say before the co-management, how they working together, the fisheries cooperatives and the government, especially in the Ministry of Ocean and Fisheries. And also in cooperatives in Korea, they have how many the members? They have total 92 members in federal cooperatives. They have 158,000 members in the fishes. So this is the big groups of the Federation of Fishery Cooperatives. This is big powers to dealing with some part, and that is very important for how to develop the Korean fisheries. And they have many different roles to develop Korean fisheries, like in the cooperatives. They have the extensions of in the fishery part, and also they have some marketings, and also they have some bankings. We have many part of the sections in fishery cooperatives, and that makes something to how the enhancing the social economic or livelihood status of fishermen by the fishery cooperatives. And I think the first one is in the role is you see here the comprehensive support for fishing industries, and that is the main part. How the member the fishermen's court, and they have some place to land, and then each the regional or business cooperatives, they hope they own the consignment the place is there, and then that is very important part of that. And this is like in how we understand of the fishery cooperatives in Korea. And also there are something to main part of the consignment sales of fish productions by cooperatives, not fishermen doing themselves. And also the cooperatives, they have their own the financial support systems to share all members together, how to deal with some small size of capitals to investor or some other operation. So this kind of financial support by cooperatives to the member fishermen. So this is a very important part of that. And also the cooperatives working with the government to support the tax-free fuels for fishing. So this is very important for all the fishermen, including agriculture. So they need the fuels for fishing or culture. So tax-free fuels supported by cooperatives, and this is one of main roles how to support the cooperative to government with the member fishermen, and also the safe fishings. And I think this is very important for many the fishermen working on board and outside and inshore and offshore, and they should have something to program of some the safety, and the cooperatives support many informations and something to the better situations to support in the safe fishing for the member fishermen. And I think that is very important for recently. And also the cooperatives, especially in the federal, the cooperatives, they have their own wireless communication systems. And these wireless communication systems, and the every days and noon times, and most of the fishermen, they should sending the wireless report to federal cooperatives by these communication systems. So this is very important for the same, including before I say the safe fishings for fishermen, including this kind of systems, and how the wireless communication systems between the federal, the fishery cooperatives in Seoul's, and in the fishing ground, all fishing boats, they have their own communication systems, and then how they share informations, sometimes like in the typhoon information, whatever. And also there are something to new the status of fishing ground, and also there are some market informations. They're using this wireless communication systems. It's very important for all of the fishing ground. You see here the wireless fishing communications, and that is it's very important for all fishermen, the safe fishing. And also the mutual finance cases. And maybe this is like here we see many fishermen, they need more monies. Because we understand of I think most of the fisheries, they have catches only fishing seasons, but they need monies all year round. How the families survive? So some example in one of fisheries, they catches only the July to October. So in fishing seasons, it's okay they have enough monies. But some other, January to June, so there are no fishing is allowed to catches because not fishing seasons. So they need the monies. So those kind of situation is the same for all countries, all fisheries. So most of the fishermen, they have incomes from only fishing seasons, but they need monies for families year round. So those kind of thing, what we understand of in the fish industry's cases. So this mutual finance is all the member fishermen, they working together, they make mutual finance systems to help each other. So this kind of the systems developed maybe in Korea before the 1953 in Korean, the Fishery Act is developed. And traditionally in the fishing communities, I mean the fishing community, fishing villages, they have their own systems to make monies themselves by this mutual the financial systems. So this is very important for recently. Even we have the capital market to borrow or to loan monies, but most countries, including Korea, the fishing market is very unstable. So that's why in the capital systems, they are not allowed to loan their monies to fishermen because the business in the fisheries is not good, high risk. So that's why most of the fishermen, they are working together to develop their own mutual finance systems to help each other. So this is very important for the fishery cooperatives to help each other among the member fishermen. And you see here the founders help the fishermen escape chronic debt and lowered the dependency on external financing and expanded the financial support for the member fishermen together. So this system is very helpful to how to the fishermen survive. And also insurance cases, because in what is the insurance in the fish sector? And I think it's the same in Timor and Korea and some other countries, because the business in the fisheries or the fishermen's fishing activities, whatever you say, the fish business is high risk. So most insurance companies, they don't like to make insurance with the fishermen because fishermen have high risk. So that's why in Korea, the cooperatives, they developed their own insurance systems for fishermen to support the insurance. And this is one of the main the laws, how the cooperatives laws for fishermen. So this insurance system is very important for the cooperatives laws for fishermen. So this insurance is sometimes supported by or some subsidies programs from government. But anyhow, still these insurance programs of cooperatives very important for fishermen. And because in general, the insurance companies and outside, they are not allowed to fishermen to have their own insurance, because business in fisheries is high risk. So that's why they don't like to working with the insurance program with the fishermen. This is why the fishery cooperatives to develop their own insurance system for fishermen. This is very important program in Korea. And also we have the broadcastings of state of fisheries. So they have their own TVs or radio programs by the fishery cooperatives, and many the informations through the broadcasting programs to support in the fishermen working in outside or inside, whatever, in these programs, or including both the radio and the TVs. So they have many programs for fishermen themselves. So these broadcastings operated by the fisheries cooperatives. And this is I think is very important for how we encourage of the fishermen, the livelihood, including their fishing villages. And this is chapter 4. We will have 5 minutes, and then we will start chapter 4.